Yo, what is up, everyone? It's Musty, and I am here, finally, to make my prediction for the main event on Saturday night. Robert Whittaker, the number one contender, former UFC champion, hasn't fought since he lost his belt against the gorilla Darren Till, up-and-comer, the 185 division, off a big win against Kelvin Gastelum in November at Madison Square Garden. His second fight at middleweight after losing a title fight at welterweight and losing to now superstar Jorge Masvidal. So there's a lot to talk about with this fight. The first thing to mention is just how stoked I am, how excited I am. I think this fight's going to be amazing. I'm more excited for this fight than any fight I've been looking forward to it in a while. I think there's little chance that this one disappoints, and I'll get into the predictions, I'll get into the good bets that should be put down in this fight, in my opinion, and I'll explain why I think everything. I have a list written down that I'm kind of just going to be going off here. I've been watching the film, watching the footage, reading up. Saw the stare down. I don't think there's much to get from that because Darren Till's a troll, but have it right here, my Whittaker Till prediction. It's over a page long. It's serious, so if you guys are ready for it, let's get started. I'd like to preface it by saying this fight, this main event, is very close in my opinion to being a pick'em fight, meaning you're just as good as choosing Whittaker or Till as you are flipping a coin. I really think it's that razor thin because I think there's a lot of variables. I think that both of these guys actually match up well against each other, which is kind of a weird thing, but I'll get into that. And I think we don't know exactly where Darren Till is at, and we also don't know where Robert Whittaker is at. So lots of things here, lots of unknowns. On top of them just being very good fighters. Key factors that this fight relies on. That's what I'll start with. I'll start with the key factors that I think that this fight relies on. Number one, can Darren Till pressure Robert Whittaker? And can he catch him early? We saw in the Jorge Masvidal fight, Till dropped Masvidal within, I think, a minute. If he could do that to Whittaker, if he could drop him, if he could stun him, if he could hurt him, he might be able to finish the fight early. If not, obviously he can pressure Whittaker against the fence, but if you pressure him against the fence, if you're down Darren Till, can you withstand the blitzes of Robert Whittaker? Robert Whittaker likes to come in fast with hooks, leaning down, and he likes to throw head kicks up. And as we know, Darren Till has been caught being blitzed in the past. Sometimes he relies on his, guerrilla defense where he's really up and his head, his chin, is right in the air. And it could be ugly if he gets caught clean. That's the second factor. The third factor, can Darren Till counter-strike Rob Whittaker like Israel Adesanya was able to do? That meaning, if they get into an exchange in the middle of the octagon, Darren Till welcomes that exchange, can he kind of read what Rob's doing and catch him? Personally, I think that Adesanya, I think if Till gets Whittaker, I don't think it's gonna be in an exchange. I think it's gonna be him kind of maybe pressuring him up against the fence and landing a big left, or Whittaker comes in, Till steps back and is able to land a big shot, but I don't think it's going to be like the Adesanya fight. And I also think that Whittaker, all credit to Adesanya, I don't think Whittaker put up his best fight. I think, obviously aggression's a good thing, right? It's good to be aggressive, but you don't want to be too aggressive, and normally Whittaker is aggressive, but he's calculated. Against Adesanya, he wasn't that calculated from the looks of it. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So the next part of this prediction, something we have to look at with these guys are their past fights. You take Robert Whittaker. He's been finished. I'm not including submission losses. I'm including knockout losses because I think this fight is going to take place on the feet. Whittaker has been finished only by Stephen Thompson and Israel Adesanya, two of the highest level strikers in all of MMA, pound for pound. If you're going pound for pound, top 5 elite strikers, they're both in there. Now, we saw Darren Till go toe-to-toe with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. MMA math does not work. We know that. But going toe-to-toe with Wonderboy Thompson for 5 rounds, that says something about your ability to strike on its own. And against super high-level strikers, Robert Whittaker has been finished twice. His wins come against not strikers of that caliber because there's so few. There's so few, right? But where this almost comes full circle is, yeah, like Darren Till maybe I can't say positively Darren Till is, an elite top of the cream of the crop striker, right? I can't say that, but I can say he's a very good striker. I could say that he did go toe-to-toe with Wonderboy. And in Whittaker's credit, his fight with Wonderboy was a long time ago. He's improved a lot since then. But where this kind of comes full circle is Jorge Masvidal, the way he knocked out Darren Till, it was by blitzing him. He caught him with that switch, jab, left hook. He caught him with that 2 times before it knocked him out, right? Darren Till backs up. So, while Whittaker has to be concerned about kind of the, how calculated Darren Till can be, how many ways he can set up that left hand, cut the cage off, do what he does. Darren Till should be just as concerned for how Robert Whittaker is very fast, has powerful hooks, and can blitz him and finish him if he lands clean. So that's what I meant before when I said these guys both in a way match up well against each other and are bad matchups for each other. So that's very interesting. So what else then does this fight come down to? Because I'm having trouble here, right? Well, let's look at what each guy has to watch out for, right? On paper, Robert Whittaker has, I'd say, more in his bag as a martial artist than Darren Till. Darren Till says it himself. Just the left hand, but many ways to set up the left hand, many ways to lead you into it. He was able to not lean Jorge Masvidal into it and lean Stephen Thompson into it, but kind of apply pressure in a way that they did not see the left hand coming, and it landed against Masvidal, it landed clean down the pipe. Against Wonderboy, landed on the side of the head. Throws it from a ton of different angles, sets traps, all that good stuff, especially when he has you against the fence. He did land a couple of hands against Gastelum in the middle of the octagon, which was good to see out of him. But I think he's most lethal to land a powerful left hand when he has you pressured against the fence. Now, he's not just a left hand, right? He has some good spinning attacks that I've seen him throw, especially when he's cutting off the octagon. He'll kind of cut you off, and as you're circling out, he'll throw the spin. Other thing he does well is obviously his body kicks. He has some nice body kicks that could slow someone down. He's a Muay Thai guy, right? So obviously he has some strong kicks. And then elbows. Clinching with Darren Till. I mean, he's a big guy. He's gigantic. If you just look at the size of his back, right? He's absolutely enormous. They call him the gorilla for a reason. Whittaker has to watch out if they clinch up. Watch out for the elbow. Watch out for the elbow coming out of the clinch. That could be fight ending. That could definitely be fight ending. So that's another thing you gotta watch out for when fighting Darren Till. For Robert Whittaker, very strong hooks. You don't want to get caught in the pocket with Robert Whittaker. Only Israel Adesanya really showed the kind of striking mastery to be able to do that. Look what happened against Brad Tavares. Robert Whittaker landed a bomb of a left hook 2 times in a row, knocked him out cold. Obviously, it's that very strong high kick that we see him land on guys. It's kind of set up from his hooks, from his blitzes, because he's very, here, so he's able to just throw a looping high kick, catch a guy clean on the side of the head. We We saw in the Jacare fight, when he had Jacare pressured, he was able to get Jacare to lean to the side. He'll throw a hook or a straight, get you to lean to the side, and then he'll come up with the head kick, smack you on the side of the head. It's a very powerful strike that you don't want to get hit with. So strong hook, strong high kick, and then he's all around. He's just very fast, right? He's a very fast guy. He went 10 rounds with Yoel Romero. 10 rounds with Yoel Romero, and grappled with him, struck with him for 10 rounds. That's a freak athlete. You go 10 rounds with Yoel Romero, you got to be a pretty good athlete. I think that's a given. So he's a gifted athlete. And then lastly, he's a very well-rounded mixed martial artist. I'd say slightly more so than Darren Till. Now, how much this will actually play into the fight, I don't know. I don't expect him to try to really grapple Darren Till. I think he's the better grappler. I think all things considered, boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, whatever, on paper, Robert Whittaker is better, but I don't think that plays too much into this fight. I think it's really just going to be a stand-up battle, and I think Darren Till has just as many tools, if not more, traps on the feet than Robert Whittaker. So, once again, we're very even. This is why this fight is a pick'em. It's very difficult to decide based on everything I just said. I know I'm not helping, but I'll give a pick and I'll give a reason. Trust me, I'm getting there. I'm getting there next. I'll tell you guys who I think wins, and then I'll tell you guys when I think the fight ends, how it ends. So, most of you probably don't know this. If you follow my Twitter, you probably know this, at @MNWithMusty. I am a Robert Whittaker fan. I'm a big fan of the guy. I think it's hard not to be a fan of the guy. I like Darren Till too, but I've been a Whittaker fan for a while. And I'm really trying to not let that cloud my judgment here. I truly did analyze this fight, but I am a Robert Whittaker fan. And I do think Robert Whittaker wins this fight. And I'll tell you why I'm leaning towards him. I'm leaning towards him because Darren Till beat one. I didn't think Darren Till won the Wonderboy fight, right? It was an impressive performance for sure, but if you're going round by round, I think he lost 3-2. That was just, other than Cowboy, who he knocked out, and no offense to Cowboy, but Cowboy tends to get knocked out in big fights against a huge rising star like Darren Till. Not taking it away, but he beat Cowboy, edged out Wonderboy, controversially, in Liverpool. Got finished by Tyron Woodley. He landed one strike in the Tyron Woodley fight. If you check the UFC stats, he landed one strike in that fight. Got knocked out badly by Jorge Masvidal. Moved up to middleweight. And the fight against Gastelum, I think it was lackluster. I think Gastelum is a true welterweight. So I think this is the first middleweight that we'll really be seeing. I know Whittaker used to be a welterweight as well, but he's definitely a legit middleweight size-wise at this point, and skill-wise, obviously, but size-wise compared to Gastelum. Rob's a bigger guy. So that has me leaning towards it. Till's most recent losses and his last fight. And also, Robert Whittaker has had some time off. He seems to be in a good spot mentally, which is very important. Obviously, the skills pay the bills in there, but it is important. And Rob has spoken about it a lot, so I do think that that'll play a role in the fight. I mean, it is a pick'em though. That's why I'm leaning Whittaker because of that right there. Whittaker is coming off a big loss though, and you see a lot of guys lose their belt and they don't really get back to it. So Till kind of, despite the 2 losses, he's younger. He beat Gastelum. He's coming off a win. He does have some momentum, right? So in that regard, what I just said maybe doesn't matter as much. But the real reason I'm leaning Whittaker is just because I haven't seen enough from Darren Till. I've seen more than enough from Robert Whittaker. If Till wins this fight, if he finishes Whittaker, that's gonna be a very impressive win for him. If Robert Whittaker finishes Darren Till, it's gonna be a big win for as far as when we look at his career. But it would be I think, a bigger win for Darren Till. So yeah, betting wise, I gotta lean Whittaker here, guys. I think either guy can definitely win the fight. How do I think it happens? I think Whittaker. I think Whittaker's able to catch him when he's coming at him, and hurt him. Which gets me to my next point. Will the fight go the distance? Listen, the Whittaker money line I think is solid enough. It's gone a little bit steeper. I think it was at -105. Now it's at like -135. But that right there is probably just around the fight going the distance or not going the distance. So I don't think the fight goes the distance. I think the only way the fight could possibly go the distance is if Rob comes out conservatively and if Till is okay with fighting like he, kind of fought him in the last fight. I don't expect that to happen. I expect Robert Whittaker to come out and try to fight Darren Till. I expect Darren Till to try to fight him right back. I think it's going to be a fight. I definitely think it's going to be like a throw him sort of fight. Obviously technical, but they'll be pushing the pace. I doubt it gets out of 3 rounds, honestly. I could see it ending in 1, 2, or 3. Or 4 or 5. But I'd say in the first 3 rounds, the fight ends. I'm going to go with a Robert Whittaker knockout tomorrow night, guys. It's going to be a crazy fight. I'm so excited for it. It was really hard for me to make that pick. But yeah, given and obviously like all the information I just gave you guys, you could take and do what you want with it. What I did with that information was say it's very even, but I'm leaning Whittaker. On paper, I do think Whittaker would be the smart choice, but even in there, I'm still leaning Whittaker. So yeah, that'll be it. I'll be posting the rest of my main card predictions, which I'll probably be a little more not thorough, a little more confident in, right? I'm confident in my prediction. I did a lot of research for this fight, but for the other fights, there's just some fights that you don't know, man. I'm not ashamed to admit that. So everyone just enjoy this fight tomorrow night. Enjoy the fight card. There's a ton of fights. And look on the channel for other predictions. All right. I'll leave the Instagram, the Twitch, the Twitter in the bio. If you made it to the end, thanks so much. Give me a like. If you want more predictions, more betting tips, drop a subscription and leave a comment if you have any questions, if you want to debate. If you think Robert Whittaker sucks, if you think Darren Till's going to take his head off with the left hand, let me know that too. Let me know why. And I'll get back to you. All right, guys. See ya.